It's a brand new day.
What's one of the most, like, awkward, embarrassing things you've ever had to deliver that's, like, come through and you've had to say it?
Well, for me, it gets particularly awkward when there's cases where I have to deliver medical news to a person.
Yeah.
That might be kind of personal or sensitive, because in one case I had a male client. I had to tell that he had a susceptibility to an issue
Down there?
in the male bits, and that basically, if he didn't get it checked out, he ran the risk of serious, like, inflammation and
Of
just stuff, just, you know, in just various
Swelling
faculties.
of the middle area. No, but if anyone has, you know, like, someone comes through and has, like, a crude joke or, like, something to his ex-wife or, like, is it ever sexual? I'm just asking.
I mean,
need to look at me like
there's
that.
references that will come through, yes, but there's no, like...
There's never any, like, is there any reminiscing of, like, oh, do you, like, a memories of...
You're ridiculous.
Hey, Tyler, how are you? Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure.
Great to meet you. Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
I'm Dr. Drew Pinsky. I'm an internist. I'm an addictionologist. I've practiced medicine for 30 years. Tyler might recognize me from CNN or Celebrity Rehab, Loveline. He's too young for that.
Yeah,
it's hot,
great.
though, isn't it?
It is warm, but glad to be here.
I'm a skeptic. I mean, I'm a physician, and I'm a scientist, and I need evidence. But my wife, Susan, is friends with 24 psychics, and so we rarely are without psychics in our life. And I've had many, many, many readings as a result.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
It's our privilege. It really is.
You know, I always like to kind of explain my process. You know, I'm primarily clairvoyant. So when I interact with people, I basically kind of get these very subtle impressions that I have to take and interpret. So basically, I just kind of communicate what I see, feel, and if I didn't do this every day, I wouldn't believe it was possible. It's like I'm the most skeptical-minded person, so
well,
I think
I'm skeptical too, and I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Right.
One thing I don't think is happening is I don't think psychics are talking to dead people. There is no doubt in my mind that this is a neurological process.
I believe 100%. So, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that mediums have some kind of an ability.
And in spite of this difference, amazingly, we don't fight about it. That's amazing.
And then the way that this will kind of go is I usually just scribble and we'll hold onto an object if you have any, by chance. We can start with any.
Want to start with yours?
I feel energy in the room. I think that you just have to let the spirit guide the reading and see where it takes you, because there's a reason why people come through when they do. And we're going to have some excitement in here.
We'll see what pops in. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Immediately, I have to talk about Dad. And your father is very insistent to come through. He feels like his passing was not that long ago. He's giving me this impression of almost a feeling of like a bit of newness. Basically that we haven't completely grieved this person's loss.
That's my father. His name is Dennis. He passed away just recently, so it's pretty new.
There is this acknowledgement of a feeling of knowing that we are watching, like, the beach, and I feel like I go to the beach, and there's a reference to a beach house, or, like, I'm referencing to this. At this particular house or home, there may be, like, a small body of water that I would have to highlight as, like, almost like a creek onto the side of it. I just need to kind of bring up.
A bay.
Okay, yeah.
That's crazy.
He would have even, like, worked on the actual house and like, redoing the paneling, walls. I'm seeing dry walls. It's like very much
He
so
did
the type.
everything himself. He's a do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah, it's kind of like a random detail. I just figured I'd...
That's an important detail.
And I feel like I have to ask what happens with the beach house. What do we do with the beach house? And there's almost a feeling of like we have to, like there's a feeling of prioritizing this place because it feels like it has sentimental value.
Well, we sold it.
Oh, no! Okay, well... Sorry, Dad. He certainly held on to it.
The house had a susceptibility to leaks in the roof. There were structural stuff that ultimately would end up coming into play.
It was such a piece of
That's why we had to sell the house.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh, my goodness. What the hell? We hadn't heard from her father ever in anything like this, but how strange was it that he came up with the house and the back bay and all this stuff?
That's not documented. Like, we don't talk about it.
You're right. He was so ridiculously accurate.
Do we have any other objects for me to hold on to by chance?
So
That's
Awesome.
an object as
But-
well.
Give it a shot. I have to talk about this man that's insistently coming through. Because I immediately have to go to brain with this. Like, I'm referencing a hemorrhage of some sort. He's having me acknowledge like a brain bleed.
You had a brain bleed.
Okay, so that would be him. There would have been a passing in family that would have happened right around Halloween in October.
That is my father,
Nice.
Morton.
Okay.
He died a few days before Halloween of an intracranial bleed. You said hemorrhage specifically, and it was a hemorrhage.
Wow.
And it was emotional when that happened.
sudden.
So,
And there would be some reference to an appreciation for his professional work in Illinois.
Yes.
So where's
trained.
Illinois?
It's where
That's where I was born, too.
yeah.
So I definitely feel like I have to acknowledge that, but I'm also concerned about an older man. This is talking about the living person,
Yeah,
I'm thinking. There's a reference to Jack that I need to mention, and there's a health thing.
Wow.
Would this be his brother?
Yes.
Okay.
My father's always deeply connected to him. I mean, like, preoccupied.
close.
Yeah, very close.
I feel like I have to talk about health. He's kind of worried about Jack's health. There's susceptibilities there in addition to like a reference to like maybe having to watch or keep an eye on like blood pressure, stroke, things along those lines.
Yeah.
Need to keep that in mind.
Is he saying worry about it or expect it?
There's more of an expectant kind of a feeling with this.
a little more
Yeah.
realistic.
That's the way that I would kind of describe it. It's a matter of time. I mean, we all transition, we all pass. He's
Well,
lived
that's
a
the
very long
situation.
life.
That's
Yeah.
the situation.
So, you know, it's just a matter of making him comfortable.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, there is also susceptibility for Jack with prostate cancer, and you have a susceptibility to prostate issues.
I have prostate cancer.
Wow. Okay.
I was diagnosed about 5 years ago, and then I had a big surgery.
Wow.
It's all got taken out and should be the end of it.
Yeah, I'm not worried, but I immediately had to mention
Good
prostate
eye.
and Jack. Yeah.
My goodness.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so that would be the connection. So Jack would have the prostate. Yeah, I'm not worried about your health in the future. I want you to know that. Like,
Yeah, good get.
yeah.
Tyler had brought up my father's brother. What he was saying, that's exactly what happened. And this experience touched on something deeply emotional. It was very calming.
And then, okay, I've got you, and you. Okay, no, it's not twins. This was driving me nuts. I wasn't sure what this was on the way here, but I was getting reference to twins, but it's not twins. So I don't really know how to
Okay.
interpret that. There's a reference
Do you want us to help you?
Multiples?
Sure, yeah, that could. Yeah.
We have triplets.
Triplets. That would be along the same lines. There's a male with a D name that I have to highlight. Male D name, male D
Yes.
name, me. So who's the male with the D name?
Related
Yes.
triplets?
Yes.
We have one of those.
Okay.
Douglas.
We have a male with a D name.
Do you know who had to get the neurosurgery? Like, it was a child who had to get a brain procedure or a procedure on the head that went fine.
Well, Douglas had one.
Our son, Douglas, had brain surgery
Okay, and was totally fine after
Father
this,
fine.
and like this looks
Which
like.
is rare.
when he was
Is that-
13 months old.
Okay.
This is exceptional.
Of the three, your father pretty much, like, exclusively kind of connects to Doug very, very closely, like this.
Douglas was aware of that too when my dad died, and
Yeah.
it was mostly built around some illnesses that Douglas had that
Bonded their
my
relationship.
father was really looking after, helping him
He
with.
was around a lot when he was sick.
Right. Because they had a very special connection, and there's this feeling of like, I'm still with him, I'm watching over him.
He loved those grandchildren.
Right.
He was an amazing grandfather.
Amazing. He was a phenomenal grandfather. Oh my God. Douglas told me that like right when my dad died. He said, you know,
Yes.
I was really like, this is hard for me. So I know I've heard that from Douglas's point of view. Never heard that from his. But it was nice to hear about the connection with Douglas. There's so much to be relieved about.
I think he has a lot of previous patients that look over him too.
Absolutely.
In his early days.
No doubt.
Go in there a little bit.
Well, it was
just to see?
interesting because weirdly, I mean, oddly, there was a drug overdose that came through in the car, but it was for a woman who passed away like very, very recently. But there's a reference to two medications being mixed. There's a
Yep.
reference to prescription drugs. This is a strong woman in the way this comes across. The feeling is not that. This isn't like a petite, traditional type of a situation. This is a woman who could probably outdrink like anybody,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
most men. And then she showed me a belt.
Yep.
Someone would have a belt. She does
Wow.
come through and acknowledges a sense of appreciation because this is somebody who basically could have been given all the help in the world, but she did not
Oh my God.
know how to take and accept help.
Oh my God.
It's clear that she was not happy with her circumstances, but there's almost a feeling of like, I'm sorry for denying all of these opportunities that a lot of people don't have. that I was given that I did not cooperate with. So that would be the message. But who would that be?
That would be China.
Oh, China.
Would that be the wrestler?
Wrestler.
Yes.
That's interesting. 'Cause
That was the
not that long
belt.
ago. That's weird.
That was nice of her to come through.
Yeah. That's hard.
It's hard for Drew.
I imagine. That has to be such a responsibility and a bit of a burden.
Well, you can't make somebody get better.
Right.
This is a great example of that feeling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The China thing was crazy. Too much. We tried everything, and she just wasn't willing to take what we had to offer, which, brought up all those feelings about struggling to help somebody. That it's exactly what the feeling that Tyler described. I never feel like I can do enough, but again, a lot of this experience for me was the feeling I came away with, and the feeling I came away with was of relief. I'm just shaking my head because we're accustomed to being around people with the skill set you have, and you're ridiculous.
Oh, thank you.
Ridiculous.
Thank you.
I don't know. I find it calming.
Good.
Yeah.
No, it is really calming. It's
Helps
healing.
my anxiety disorder.
Good. See? It helps mine and validate.
This is incredible.
I'm
You've
so
been
glad.
so straight on the dime with everything.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you, really. Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Absolutely.
Really.
Oh my
It's,
gosh.
oh, you get a hug?
Yes, you get a
I
hug. We're getting
It's hard for me to believe that he's talking to dead people.
He's talking to dead people.
But if he isn't, I don't know what it is.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tyler.
Bye.
Crazy. What is this? What is this? I'm totally, completely preoccupied trying to figure out how this happens. But one thing is for sure, he was, almost 100%, not just accurate, but like spot on. It's astonishing. But I let go of anxiety. I let go of concern. I felt relief. And there were lots of little things that he said that made me relieved. I was helped, and he is truly something in terms of his skill with this. I'm impressed.
I've never heard you talk like this. It's kind of weird.
It was just impossible.
How does he know all the names and exactly what's wrong with them?
I'll think about that for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sad, I'm not tearful, I'm just calm.